Kia ora, good morning. Wow, do I have a story to tell you? Oh my god. Oh my god. It's getting so exciting in the life of bloody Debbie Callahan. So let me tell you what's going on. So I got a visit from the police yesterday. Christopher Black, my ex, has accused me of stalking. And the Normanton police turned up on my doorstep, and I've got to go down to the police station, and I told them my story. I was shaking like a leaf because I knew, like in my head as they were talking, I'm thinking, oh my God, this is it. It's finally over. Like I'm finally going to get justice, even though they were saying like, we need to take you down to the station and talk to you, and you're going to need a lawyer present, and do you need a lawyer we can get? And I'm thinking, oh my God, I have been just struck with the biggest blessing from God, because now I've been given a lawyer and I don't have to pay for it, because that's what's taken me so long, is that I didn't have the money to pay for a lawyer up front. I was just kept praying and praying and praying to find somebody who could help me. I had somebody offer to help me get custody of the boys pro bono, an incredible lawyer that I actually met when I was locked up. She gave me a card and she said, when this is over, I know people who will help you get the boys back. She was the one that told me I was a victim of domestic abuse. That's how brainwashed I was, the Stockholm syndrome. I had no idea that how I was being treated was considered domestic abuse. So she was incredible. And she actually apologised to me when I lost my tribunal. She said to me, I'm so sorry. She said, I know she believed me. And she gave me her card and she said, when this is over and you're ready to go for custody of your boys, give me a call, because I know people that can help you for either a really, really small fee or pro bono. And the only reason why I've never contacted her is because with the family court, it's only dealing with the custody. And I want a lawyer who can help me deal with justice. That's why I've been holding it off. And now what he's done, he's going to enable me to finally get justice, and I don't have the burden of having to pay for it. And I promise the British taxpayer that I will pay back every penny once this is over, because now this lawyer can finally get the weed tested that the police never tested. They can go through my phone and sort out that how I found the second SIM card attached to somebody else. They can go through all of that. They can go and interview the guy that sold me the weed. They can go and interview my ex-husband. They can go and interview, they can bring everybody in that I implicated, and they can go through all my evidence. I said yesterday to my little circle, he's just handed me the bullets, and now I'm going to let the law fire the gun. Because I've got everything there. The lawyer won't even, all the lawyer will have to do is click onto all my evidence. I said to the police, I have nothing to hide. I said everything that I say about him, I put online. I say it's out there. I have nothing to hide. And I send links to what I say and all my evidence to the DC in charge of my case. It's all there. You can see all the emails. They didn't even know that he was under investigation for domestic violence and historical sexual assault. He hadn't told them that part. So then I thought, all the information that I have on him, I've made public. I haven't hidden that, but all the information I have on him, he's made public. You know, like I pulled up conversations because I've got all this evidence now to hand to the lawyer, so they can even look into the Rocio Ray Nunez phone hacking claim. They'll see all my evidence as proof that I've been saying all along my phone's been hacked, including the emails from Facebook or Meta now, who helped me unhack my account because my account got deactivated. Like, it's all there. And so all I have to do is just hand that to the lawyers, and all they have to do is click, and all the evidence is there. And then they can find out whether he has a life insurance policy out on me. They can find out if he had properties, if he's got properties in his name prior to 22. They can find out if that Psycho Bakes Wakefield is connected to him and Katie. They'll be able to find out about Freya's Cauldron. Like I've literally now just been handed the Hammer of Thor. It's like, how dare you? He said, I've got evidence to give the lawyer, a conversation I was having where he accused me of breaking into his dungeon to steal the boys' passports. Now, if he's put that in writing, I pray to God he's put that in writing, because the conversation that I then sent to the police last night as evidence, basically, yeah, let's just say, if he's put any of this in a document and signed it, once again, he's going to be in trouble for lying to the police. I thought this is because he knows people have started turning on him. People are starting to think twice about their association with him, because everybody's starting to see that I've been telling the truth. I'm getting a lot of support, especially from my neighbours. And I said to my boys last night, the day he got me locked up, when he lied and said I was suicidal and barricaded in and blah, 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 I reminded them of the dream that my boy had had many years before, where he said that we were in his room watching YouTube, and a queen bee came into the room, and they were so happy they were feeding it flowers. And the bee was so happy with the flowers it was being fed, it produced golden honey that allowed us to see our futures. And the golden honey started spilling out onto the streets of Wakefield, and turned everything into flowers. And then somebody called the police, and the police come along and say, what's going on? Hello, 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 what's going on here? Sorry. And I tell them my story, and they say, oh. And they go away and start tearing the buildings down to leave the flowers, because somebody was complaining about the flowers growing over Wakefield. And so they came and tore the buildings down and left the flowers. And I was reminding the boys of this the day I got locked up. Now, the funny thing is, when the police came to the door, I was wearing a t-shirt I bought a couple of months ago. And in big golden letters, it says honey across it, because my name in Hebrew means queen bee. I said to the police, I get likes from people like NASA. I'm followed by Professor Brian Cox because of the interest and respect that I'm starting to get in the work of physics. And I said, and I put everything I know into making these products to help people suffering from PTSD and domestic violence and, that sort of thing. Um, because I used my Indigeny to do it, and I said, and he's tried to steal my Indigeny and profit off it. But he's labelled it as pagan and, Wiccan stuff. I said he's stolen my Indigeny and used it to. He's basically representing Indigeny as turned it into black magic. Now the thing is that I've been giving all my products to all my neighbours, the people in my apartment, all my neighbours, and the change in my neighbourhood is absolutely incredible. When I first moved in, we had a problem with people dumping their rubbish in their bins, and a lot of the rubbish they were dumping was boxes and that from things they were nicking from up at the co-op and that. And a lot of the neighbours were scared because, we don't want to be implicated in any crimes. We just want to live peaceful lives and that. So I started doing a protection over my neighbourhood. It's on my channel. I was showing you what I do with my incense ashes, and I talk all the time about the offerings I lay for the crows and feed all the stray cats, and I feed the pigeons and the sparrows, and sometimes I get seagulls. A family of foxes have just started turning up, so that means I've got to buy more cat food, which, oh my god, I spend more money on the offerings for the animals around here than I do on feeding myself. Like, I literally choose food for them over choose food for myself. But like I've been documenting it all, and the change in my neighbourhood. We don't get any more visits from the police. Well, I mean, other than me. But the thing is, my neighbours know why the police are visiting, and I have the most incredible support network now. I had. And it is actually recorded, the conversation I was telling other people right after it happened, so it is recorded. I have neighbours coming up to me and saying, I used to work in games. I need to let my children and my daughters and granddaughters and that know to keep away from Christopher Black. And this is why he's doing what he's doing, because my flowers are starting to grow over Wakefield. They're eating my products. I'm doing these, rituals. They're testing my candles and my oils and eating my jams and, that sort of thing. And the change in this neighbourhood, it's like, it's just so peaceful now. There's no yelling and yahoo, and, there's no, it's just all stopped, and neighbours are all getting on with each other who once, kept their distance. And so my flowers are starting to grow, and he knows it. So he called the police. But now the police are going to help me tear the buildings down, because now I've been given a lawyer. So now the lawyer can do what the police didn't do before, and test the weed and get the results of the blood test and see if he, what his financial dealings were prior to 22, to see if he is married, if he does have a second home, if he's got children. If he took out a life insurance policy, we'll get his laptop and tablet and all that checked out to see exactly who he's been talking to, and how long he's been talking to them, and exactly what they've been saying. So now the tables have turned, because what I don't like, and this is what I said when I sent my evidence to the detective on my case. What I don't like is this man keeps using the British taxpayer pound, to use the police like his thugs, because in his mind he thinks he's some kind of emperor. And I'm about to expose him for the fact that he's actually stark bollock naked, and he's not who everybody thinks he is. And the evidence that I gave the police last night, I think is going to put an end to this once and for all, because now I've got a lawyer to prove that everything I've been saying is right, including the fact that I found evidence on my phone that implicates Sumo's intention to target my social media to try and bring me down, which means Sumo got people to target a woman and her two sons who were trying to develop their own games company to raise money to build safe houses for children who have been used in who have been rescued from human trafficking gangs. And I've got absolute evidence that I'm going to take to the bank, because now I have to show the lawyer, and now the lawyer can, they're going to have to investigate Sumo as well. I don't know how I missed this bit of information, but I have handed it to the police, and I can't wait. I'm so excited, I can't wait. I said to the boys, this is the dream. This is the honeybee dream. It's so funny. I showed them the photo of the t-shirt I was wearing. And I said, I made sure the day they got me locked up that I retold that story in front of PC Violet and PC Lewis, knowing that they were recording the conversation, because I knew one day I'd be able to say, check your cameras. I told you this was coming. Thomas and I told you this was coming. So, you can call me crazy, but I have all the evidence to suggest it's actually the other way round. And this is karma. And I'm so excited. Like, I could barely sleep last night because I thought, oh my God, this is it. I said to the police, I've been preparing for this day for nearly 2 years. I've been waiting nearly 2 years to have my chance to hand someone evidence legally, not just on my phone, but like my evidence. And now, my lawyer, God bless them, like I said, can check the weed, can talk to the guy who sold me the weed that Chris paid for, all of it. They can check the CCTV footage of the person that was throwing the eggs at the house and stole the boys' jack-o'-lanterns. It's all there. He said it took him 3 days to clean my room. That's because he was getting rid of the evidence. He thoroughly cleaned my room just after I posted on Instagram that I was going to ask the police to test his oven, from when he put the cocaine in the pizza. They can look into the whole Rocio Nunez admitting she was ghosting the pizza on my Instagram. They can investigate the phone hacking. They will be able to contact the Air Force and Army for me. And finally, I will be heard, and all the evidence will be there, where I was trying to say to them for years, look at this, because it offends me that these people are using taxpayer money to use the military and the police as their thugs and bullies to protect child abusers and sexual predators and all of that. And it needs to stop, and someone needs to do something about it, and it has to be me. So they can do what they like. They can arrest me, whatever it is that they need to do, they got to do it. I understand that. But as soon as I get in there and I get my hands on that lawyer, I'm taking every single one of them down. The NHS, that hospital, those doctors, all of them who allowed themselves to be thugs and drug dealers for a devil worshipping kingpin who used them to target an innocent woman and her 2 children to stop us from starting our games company, because it's what he's trying to do. And he knows that when our games start getting out there, our story starts getting out there. The Quantum Menace, the Soul Collector are based on my true life, what I do. And they know that when this gets out there and people know that all of the superhero stuff and these bounty hunter, Soul Collector bounty hunter things, and that are based on a real woman and her real family and friends, and a real battle that she's had to deal with a very dark force of nature who is hiding behind the police instead of owning up to his crimes and his deeds and his abuses, and taking responsibility for the fact that him and his little cult have been taking money from innocent people and selling it as magic, when all he's done is knock off everything that my ancestors have perfected over centuries in a watered down knock-off version, and claiming to want to help people under the guise of paganism and black magic and all of that. And that absolutely offends me, as well as the fact that he is then using taxpayer money to constantly lie on legal documents and using my name to do it. And I'm not having it anymore. The victim blaming. He's In order for him not to be caught, he is making people blame the victims. And he thinks because it's people like Sumo and the police and that he's the big heavy, but he's not God. He likes to think he's God, but he is by no means God. Even Satan doesn't want a part of him. The devil will gladly have him, but Satan will only take him when the judge bangs that gavel and says she's innocent, give her kids back, and by the way, get that money in your bank now. And then the first thing I'm going to do is make my dating app, because it absolutely works. I hit the mark 99%. My algorithm is 99% accurate. I even got the initials. And then I'm going to make the Quantum Menace, and then I'm going to make The Harvest, my movie, and then I'm going to start telling my story everywhere so that people know what to do, how to fight. People will know that they're victims for the first time in their life of Indigenous race hate crimes, of human rights violations. Like, hang on a minute, I had no idea that was against the law, that they're not actually allowed to say that about me or do that to me, or I've had, there's 3 investigations now with that man's name on it, all including me. My name's on the same investigations, 3 investigations now with that man's name on it, all to try and stop me from making my video games to tell my story about what he's doing. But every time he messes up, it just makes my story more and more believable, which means it'll sell more. And then I can finally put the money into building these academies for the children and finish what I tried to start all those years ago, but he wouldn't let me, because he knows I'm better than him. I said, I have 0 experience in art, but I know games. I know the creative, empathic mind. When I make my video games, I'm going to make a VR game where it is biorhythmically infused, where when the person plays it for a couple of times, they're going to be completely healed of depression, of suicidal thoughts. Paranormal activity will cease. Any voices that they hear, any sort of dissension psychosis or ascension psychosis will be dealt with. Because, as I said to the police yesterday, I've been putting all the evidence that my stuff works up online. with, posting people's, their reporting back on my volunteers and that. So I have scientific proof and evidence that everything I do works. And he's tried to stop me because he's tried to rip me off. But it's smoke and mirrors. He's the mirror opposite. He's the other world. The Quantum Menace in the battle of two worlds. He's the other world. So now I finally get representation. I spent hours trawling through conversations and screenshots and photos and all of that, and put it in a nice little package and sent it off to the West Yorkshire Police, and tagged it for the Normanton Police. I said to them, bring it on. I said, my niece is dying in New Zealand, and because of that man and a rift that he caused back in 2000, the year 2000, February year 2000, I'm not there to hold my niece in my arms with my sons so that she can meet them before she goes because of him. We didn't talk for 3 years, and she didn't even know that I had moved to the United Kingdom. That's because of him. And then we started talking again, and everything was fine until all of this. And he tore my family apart. And now we can't even grieve together as a family because of him. So someone needs to do something. And I have been praying for this, and I have been praying and praying and praying and praying. And we had the Mother of Dragon comet the other day. I put my wish on that comet, and 2 of them came true. And now I just need justice. For my niece, I need a miracle, but I have to leave that up to God. But for the rest, there is nothing he can say, there is nothing he can do to scare me, because I know how this ends. And it's his tower that comes down, not mine, because I don't live in a tower, I live in the garden. And where I go, flowers grow. And he doesn't like the fact that the people of Wakefield have started protecting me and defending me and saying things like, if ever he turns up and you're afraid, you just come here. And what's his name again? I want to know so I can let people know. Everybody knows now. I said to my boys, the Arboreal Council, I'm the grandmother tree stuck in my roots here in this little flat. I said to the police, I was put here pretty much until this investigation is over. And all my neighbours are the Arboreal Council. They're like my tree army because we live in Outfield, in Outwood and Wakefield. And Outwood used to be part of Sherwood Forest. It's the outer of the Sherwoods, the outer of the Sherwood Forest in Nottingham. That's how vast the Sherwood Forest actually was. It spread all the way from Nottingham up to like the Leeds border. So yeah, that's what I realised. I'd written this in with a little help from my friends and Andre's Dragon, like it's all written in. Everything that I said was going to happen, I wrote, and with a little help from my friends, the Quantum Menace, and Andre's Dragon, and the Soul Collector. Everything, all the people I wrote in have now started appearing in my life. All the things that I wrote were going to happen have all started happening in my life, and I've been documenting everything on my phone. So now I get my day in court to prove that quantum magnetics is real. It's all there. I will be able to point the media and everyone through the courts and through this trial to all my social media to prove that quantum magnetics is real, and that my Indigenous and Egyptian ancestors will no longer be denied, mocked, or ridiculed by people who think that they are the better judges of Indigeny just because they have a quote unquote medical degree. So it's nearly over, guys, and he's just handed me the bullet. And I've just loaded the gun and handed it to the police. So we shall see what happens. I'm so excited, like I couldn't sleep. I'm bouncing off the walls because I know what's coming. At the same time, I'm really nervous as well because I know what's coming. My Mayan temple dream. My flying in the sky with my blue dragon, watching the people getting swallowed up by the lava dream. My dream a dream, landing at the foot of Head of the Eagle, falling out the sky like a comet. My Te Whiti, my Let the Sunshine dream, like all of it. It's all started manifesting in real life. It's all starting to happen exactly how I said it was going to happen. I've been waiting for him or someone connected to him to make that phone call to the police, because I knew once they came along to ask me, I would tell them my story, and they would be the ones to tear the building down, not me. I wouldn't have to do a thing, which is what my Let the Sunshine dream was all about. When I got to the foot of the mountain, I was told you've got one more hill to climb, or one more mountain to climb, but don't worry, we're going to make it easy on you, or something like that. And the mountain started elevating me up like an escalator. So like, even though I was climbing the mountain, I didn't have to put in any of the work. It's happening exactly how I said it would. Because now I don't have to do anything. I put in all the work. I just have to hand it all to the police and my lawyer, and it's all done. Like, we can take this to trial pretty quick. Because they won't have to waste their time on the investigation. All the lawyer has to do is, interview the people that I'm naming and get test results back, and go through the camera for that day, because of the fact that the statement, that stuff that was said by the police officer on camera is different to what she had made in her statement to the doctors. The contrasting conversations. So the lawyer can investigate all of this now, thanks to him, because he tried to hide behind the police because he's a coward and lie once again on legal documents, which just annoys me. You know what I'm like when it comes to justice. I swear to God, my dorsolateral prefrontal cortex is the size of an apple, because I act immediately. When there's injustice, I don't think about it, which probably might not be a good thing for my own safety, but I don't think about it. I just see a victim and boom, I'm there. I can't not be. If I see someone who needs that loving and nurturing, it's like it's instinctual for me. It's that mother's instinct. Boom, I'm there. And that's everything that him and the people who are helping him hate, because they all hate their mothers. They all have mother issues, every single one of them. Every single one of them. Whereas all the people on my side of the camp have beautiful relationships with their mothers. Or they've made peace with them if they didn't, because of my candles, because of the formula. So, so this is him once again trying to stop me, because he's trying to start his own games company. I think he's probably found funding or, stuff like that. And he knows that I'm on the brink of taking him down, and he's tried one last ditch effort to stop me by maybe getting me arrested, to give me a record so that it would be hard for me to leave the country. especially if he wants to go to Malta, where I want to build the second academy for, kids that we rescue from war zones in the Middle East. And someone has to stop him, and it's got to be me, because he's hurting a lot of people. He's lying to a lot of people. He's ripping off a lot of people. I'll be able to get the lawyer to investigate his tax evasion as well, because I know that, in over the 20 years that I was with him, I never saw him pay tax for the freelance work he was doing on the side that I told Sumo he was doing, which I know for a fact was a breach of his contract. He signed a contract to say that he wouldn't do work outside of Sumo, and I told them he was doing it, and they completely let him breach their own legal contract. So I can bring all of this up in court. So then they can see if he's been paying tax on all his freelance, especially the stuff he was doing with Andy Dilks that was ripping off my books and my products. So now I can bring Andy into court. They can go through all their bank records, all their phones, like everything. And I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm waiting for an email. I don't know why it's Normanton Police. I don't even know where that is. She asked me if I had a car. So I said, I wonder if he's tried to say that I was like at some place at some time. But they only have to check the CCTV. Same with, the person throwing the eggs and stealing the pumpkins and quote unquote, which, just by complete coincidence, before all the attacks on the house started, someone just happened to break into his car and steal his car camera. And they only took the camera, not the cord. And he said when he made his claim to the insurance company that, he went to the police and that the police were doing a knock, knock on door. Did you see anything? Because the CCTV cameras weren't working. But they were working. There's like 3 or 4 cameras up that road, not just the one in front of the house. I know that from the boys that got stabbed. I know where all the cameras are because it's how they caught. The photo that I took, it helps the police identify who tried to kill those poor boys. So now I get my say, and I get to clear my name, and I get to say, look, see, I told you I was telling the truth the whole time about everything. My lawyer will finally be able to take statements from my boys to hear their side of the story, because nobody asked them what happened that night. Nobody asked them anything about anything. They were too afraid to talk. And I just said to them, let mummy do the talking. And I had dragged this out, but I didn't have the money to pay for a lawyer. And I just was praying for a miracle. And I just kept saying every day, please get me justice, please get me justice, please get me justice. And now I'm getting justice, and I will be able to prove quantum magnetics is real. I will be able to prove myself as a high priestess and an Egyptian high priestess, and an indigenous shaman, and finally put a stop to his tyranny, and bring attention to the world about how sexual abuse in video games companies, sexual abuse in the gaming industry is still going on. It is still being protected. The victims are being blamed and shamed and ridiculed and pushed out of their jobs. But don't worry, because when I open the Art of Creation Foundation, you will have a job with me, especially if you are Indigenous. and you haven't been able to get your foot in the door because you have been judged because of your race. I'll take you on. Also, to put an end to the false prophecy and the ripping off and thieving of my work, my products, my identity, the slandering of my name, the human rights violations. I will be able to draw attention to the fact that there are doctors in these hospitals and some staff who are getting away with torturing innocent people in the name of mental health. I will be able to finally stand up there and tell it like it is with all the evidence to back it up, including that I'm a time jumper and that I'm backed by God. So thank you, Chris, for being the dumbest person who thinks he's smart ever in the history of the universe, because now you've just given me the ability to be a voice for a lot of victims because of people like you, and I won't have to pay for it. So there you go. So we shall see what happens. So get ready. It's like I said to the police, bring it on. I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting for this day for a long time. I've been preparing what I'm going to say when I get on the stand, how I'm going to present myself, trying to get myself to toughen up. All the people around me, building me up. You're so strong. I'm so proud of you. You're going to do this. We're going to get through this. Like, you're going to get victory. Just building me up, building me up, building me up, including people from the West Yorkshire Police. Don't give up. Keep fighting. Don't stop fighting for justice. And so I've got a lot of people building me up. And now with my lovely little neighbours, I'm as strong as a redwood. I'm as strong as a kauri tree. I'm as strong as an oak tree. I'm as strong as the mighty pine. And if they're going to get to me, they're going to have to go through God first. And I've made it pretty clear on my social media whose side he's on. Because he's the one that handed me the lawyer. Who do you think made the bullet? Who do you think's on the other end of that hammer? So here we go. Buckle up, people, because it's about to get very exciting. And then now you'll see then why, like, I had to turn all of this into games and movies and that, because my life is too fun not to sit down and watch with popcorn or with a with a gaming controller in your hand.